Despite the very obvious evidence, there are still people out here convinced that Charlie Kirk is still alive. They are pointing at the photos Erica posted of him in his casket and saying, "That's not him. That's fake. That's a mannequin." So let's pause. As an embalmer, I can tell you that is absolutely him, and actually the exact things people are using as proof, the yellow hands, the firmness, the waxy or silicone appearance, those are classic signs of embalming. So let's break it down. Before I dive in, I want to stop and acknowledge something really important. This is sensitive material. A man just lost his life, and his wife, Erica, is grieving in a way most of us can't even imagine. Part of me hopes she never sees this video because my goal here isn't to add to her pain. But here's the reality. People are already talking. The internet is full of rumors, conspiracy theorists, and outright misinformation. Everything from "he's still alive" to "that's a mannequin in the casket," and as an embalmer, I can't sit back and let people take these wild stories at face value. Yes, this is hard to talk about, but death is hard. He is gone, and the world is already talking about it. So instead of adding to the rumor mill, I'm here to put the facts out there to explain what's normal, what's not, and to hopefully bring some clarity to a situation that's already incredibly painful. The yellow coloring in his hands, totally normal in embalming. Circulation isn't happening anymore, so the extremities often look darker, sallow, or yellowed. Lighting in funeral homes can also exaggerate that look. I've seen that exact presentation hundreds of times. Now, as an embalmer myself, I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed in the color of his hands. I know the embalmer who worked on him may not like me saying this on the internet, but I feel like the cosmetics could have definitely been handled better. Hands and lips are two of the hardest areas for us to restore cosmetically. Hands dry out really quickly after death, and lips lose their natural moisture and fullness. If we don't hydrate the body properly, or if you use the wrong cosmetics, you get uneven skin tones, yellowing, graying, or just that slightly off color people are noticing in the photos. Another thing people bring up a lot is, why do they look waxy? That waxy look isn't because the person is fake or a mannequin. It's because the skin itself has changed. Once the embalming fluid replaces the blood, the skin is no longer being hydrated or oxygenated like it was in life. The texture literally shifts. On top of that, mortuary cosmetics are designed to sit differently than everyday makeup. We're working on skin that isn't absorbing product. Sometimes wax is used to rebuild areas. For example, if there's trauma, dehydration, or tissue loss, then makeup goes over that. The result can look smooth, even a little too smooth, or that's where that plastic or waxy description comes from. It's one of the biggest challenges we face, making someone look as natural as possible while working with skin and features that are no longer alive. On the stuffed appearance, some people said he looks stuffed. That's likely because he probably underwent an autopsy. In most gunshot cases, even when the cause of death seems obvious, a full autopsy is performed. That means Y incision, removal, and examination of organs, then everything is placed back in and sutured up. To protect the embalmer's work, we often place the body in a plastic Unionol suit. Think of it like a jumpsuit that holds everything in place. That can give that little bit of a firm look people are noticing, or if you've ever been to a funeral and you went to touch your loved one's arm and you feel something plastic underneath, that's that Unionol suit. A lot of people have asked me if it's even possible to have an open casket after a gunshot wound, and the answer is yes, it's very possible. It depends entirely on where the wound is and how much damage was done. In Charlie's case, we all saw in the video that the wound was in his neck. Now, I can't say for certain if it was a through and through, but how embalmers handle injuries like that. Embalming proceeds as normal, blood is replaced with embalming fluid to preserve the body. Wound closures. If the tissue allows, we will suture the wound closed. In areas where stitching isn't possible, say the skin is torn or irregular, we use what's called a basket weave stitch, which crisscrosses the area so we can build on top of it with wax restoration. After stitching, mortuary wax or a restorative filler is applied over the area to smooth out the surface. Wax gives us a base that looks like natural skin. We may use airbrush cosmetics or cream-based mortuary cosmetics that are designed to cover discoloration. Special focus on the neck and face. Because Charlie's wound was in a visible place, the embalmer would have had to carefully balance coverage with a natural look. Families often prefer minimal cosmetics, especially for a young man, so the work here would have been delicate. The family knows it's there, and the funeral director will do their absolute best to cover it. But depending on the extent of the damage, it may not look exactly like it did in life. And that's just reality. I got lots of messages about timing and release of his body. And yes, the quick turnaround time is also normal. The body can be released right away. Funeral homes will embalm as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. In this case, Charlie was taken to the hospital first and declared dead on arrival, which means he was in refrigeration quickly, giving the embalmer good conditions to work with, in my opinion. Some people noticed that Charlie's wedding ring wasn't on his hand. My professional opinion, Erica likely has it. Families often keep jewelry rather than leaving it with the body, and honestly, that's smart. In a high-profile death like this, there's probably security around his body, but still, I would advise a family not to leave valuable items on their loved one. Better safe than sorry. Now, people have also asked me if his public funeral will be open casket. It's scheduled for the 21st at Cardinal Stadium, and here's what I think. No, it will not be open casket. Why? Because Erica has already shared deeply personal image of her husband, and that's more than the public was ever entitled to. I don't think she'll allow open viewing for thousands of people, not because they couldn't present him, but because she shouldn't have to. That's private. My guess is that the family will have a burial beforehand, and the public memorial will be just that, a memorial. Honestly, I think that's the right choice. So no, it's not a mannequin. It's not fake. And yes, embalming sometimes looks different than people expect. From the yellow hands to the autopsy restoration to the waxy appearance, everything we're seeing is exactly what you'd expect in a case like this. As an embalmer, sure, I might have made a few different cosmetic choices, but at the end of the day, the family's wishes always come first. And for those wondering about the gunshot wound, yes, open casket viewings are still possible. It comes down to wound location, restoration techniques, and the skill of the embalmer. At the end of the day, the family has chosen to share what they're comfortable with, and that deserves respect.